Ambalanders. Today we are witnesses to Mr. Biya's renewed declaration of a civil war in our country, Ambazonia. October 7 for us was another referendum by Southern Cameroonians where we clearly voted 95% against being under the brutal colonial rule of French Cameroon. It is shameful, however, and extremely painful to witness the hypocrisy demonstrated by some of ours, born Ambazonians, in the midst of this gross evil. I live to wonder how the blood of thousands of our innocent people cannot call to conscience all our greedy house slaves in Yaoundé. All you house slaves of Southern Cameroon's parliamentarians, senators, ministers, SDOs, and appointees of this bloody government of Paul Biya. Who do you represent in Yaoundé? You are a curse to our struggle. Dishonorable Joshua Ossi and all SDF senators, Pastor Ndifo, parliamentarians, and appointees of the vampire government of French Cameroon, shame on you. Shame on you all. Your generations to come, shame on you. We will not forget. After scandalously participating in French Cameroon's rogue elections that was widely boycotted by the people you once claimed to be your constituents, you cowards pretentiously staged a court case requesting a partial cancellation of the elections. But today, here you are seen shockingly endorsing and legitimizing the criminal-in-chief, the tyrant, and his hegemony. Shame on you all, sellouts. And all you Southern Cameroonians who have opted to serve as journalists to CRTV, you are the worst puppets of this disgraceful scheme against justice. How could you even think of pinning our Independence Day to that of French Republic of Cameroon? How could you? Shame on you. Now, let me make this clear. You, the cabal, serving the Yaoundé Mafia, you co-conspirators with our killers, our blood won't flow in vain. Henceforth, we consider you public enemies number one in our land. Why should the blood of our children being massacred daily by your boss be of any less value to your own? You can initiate your federalist ideology or dialogue or decentralization in your country, French Cameroon, but not in ours. Our independence is non-negotiable, not today, not tomorrow, and not ever. Not after more than 8,000 of the best of our people's lives have been slaughtered by your brutal militia, thousands jailed in Biya's concentration camps, millions of hours on exile, and hundreds of thousands internally and externally displaced, with some simply missing to thin air. Many of our compatriots are bearing permanent scars, having lost members of their bodies. All of these accurate monstrosities cannot go to anything less than the price for total restoration of the independence and sovereignty of the people of Ambazonia. I want to remind you of the famous words of Honorable Wiba Joseph on the 16th day of December 2016. When the people will rise, even if you took the French army and added to yours, you won't succeed. We are ready for you, Mr. Biya. You can empty the Zakawas of Chad. You can employ the Sangos of Bangui. Central African Republic or the fangs of Gabon. But you can't stop Ambazonia. For every one Ambazonian's life Biya has wasted, he will pay at the appropriate time. Ambazonia is our God-given land. No man born of a woman shall take it from us again. We will fight with our very might, every might, until we flush out all colonial vestiges into hell's fire. And Mr. Biya even has the audacity to ask us to drop our weapons. That is a serious joke, isn't it? Who took arms against the order first? Let those who are supporting Biya to stay in power and double down on his barbarous military option know that Ambazonia will not back down. Listen, and listen real good. Paul Biya of French Cameroon has no legitimacy in our national territory of Ambazonia. My dear people, yesterday was one of those days when the threshold of our independence actualization endeavor witnessed yet another full-scale assault by a diabolical squad of the colonial regime of Yaoundé. This kidnap hoax that has become well known now was masterminded by a Paul Biya militia sponsored by the likes of Atanganji and Issa Chiroma. This was no surprise to us. Their aim was always, our aim has been to turn our local and international community's sympathy against our legitimate struggle. They kidnapped our kids, we rescued them, and now have the culprit in custody. The criminal regime in Yaoundé is yet to come to the realization that this generation of Ambazonia has outgrown such cheap shots. In their amateurism, they calculated and stage managed this so-called kidnap for three reasons. Number one, to justify the ongoing genocide and the plan to intensify the killings post-inauguration. To deviate international attention from the ongoing FBI investigation of the U.S. missionary Charles Wesco, who was targeted and shot 8 times by a French Cameroon soldier. Finally, to deflect attention from the severe post-inaugural repression planned by the angry electorate of French Cameroon, mourning the shameful electoral robbery masterminded by the Franco-Betty Mafia. In this art of robbery and deception, they pricked on the very reason why we as a people are ready to fight till the end. We are in this timely survival mission to protect our children, our women, from over 6 decades of occupation. We must prevail. Even though I was on my toes, liaising with ASC and searching for facts after watching the video circulating on the social media with 11 students allegedly kidnapped by so-called Amber Boys from Presbyterian Secondary School Nkwen, I didn't blink for 1 minute. I knew deep down in my bones that our boys are responsible. And I would say this to the international community without any fear of refutation. Our genuine restoration forces, who pay allegiance to our interim government, do not kidnap the same innocent children they are out to protect. Our restoration forces do not rape the same innocent men and women they struggle day and night to defend. Our restoration forces do not carry out arsons on our community properties. The interim government endorsed restoration forces are fighting for something bigger than self. It is our stolen sovereignty. The handwriting is very clear on the wall. After thousands of our people have been killed in broad daylight without a full-range coverage from any mainstream international media house, the speed at which the alleged kidnap was reported by BBC, CNN, Newsweek, Washington Post can only be revealing. These media houses seem more interested in highlighting reports of atrocities that they deem to have been committed by our restoration forces. Many ignore the elephant in the room. The need to investigate and report on the daily senseless targeted killing of scores of our civilian population, including women and children. We are not naive of the fact that Mr. Biya now pays millions of dollars of largely Southern Cameroon's money to Glover Park Group, Square Payton Box, and Mercury Lobby companies here in the United States to clean up his bloody image before the international community. This kind of staged kidnaps of children on camera may just be to fabricate evidences that their lobbies desperately need to help to confuse international opinion in favor of the brutal 86-year-old dictator who is in his 43rd year in power. Fellow Ambazonians, by now you should know that Mr. Biya is fast losing in the war he declared against our nation, despite his unprecedented brutality against our peace-loving people. Today, he promised in his speech to continue in the next 7 years with even more desperate brutality and attacks on our people from diverse angles. But again, let the world know our resolve as one people. And we have said it again and again. Bye-bye to French Cameroon. Our wounds can only be healed through total separation and not federation with French Cameroon. I want to especially thank all patriots of our nation who were prompt to timely react on the planned attacks against our struggle and against our innocent children. Thank you for your communiques and vast refutals from all your different platforms and groups. That was very amazing. Thank you. Now, we need to act pretty fast. This is not politics. I urge every single Ambazonian to keep aside their ego and let us fight this war. We do not have a second option. Let us collaborate now, reorganize and mobilize our counties, local government by local government. We are in the process of putting order on ground zero, from Meme to Ndian, from Momo to Bui. As your commander-in-chief, please, let every commander now know that Ambazonia is above all. Take advantage of the Amba Peace Plan now. By this premium option or strategy, we will fish out diaspora contractors, fraudulent soldiers, defaulters, imposters, bad actors in our struggle. This strategy gives no room for the enemy to indiscriminately penetrate or infiltrate our ranks and desecrate our God-ordained liberation. We have a unique opportunity in our generation to end this slavery now. So let's do it. Rise up, Ambazonians. Rise up. Rise from every nation and make your nation proud. We have been forced into a war that we must win. To end my speech, I hereby declare the 15th day of November 2018 the Sisiko Ayok Tabe Ghost Town, also known as Total Lockdown. God bless you. God bless the Federal Republic of Ambazonia.